Imagine a place where the American dream was still affordable, where a modest salary could buy you a three-bedroom home on a quiet street. For decades, that was the Midwest, the reliable, unexciting flyover region that Wall Street ignored. But while everyone watched Austin and Florida crash, something far more dangerous was happening in the heartland, under the radar. Cities like Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland have not just grown. They have decoupled from reality. What we are witnessing is not just a hot market, it is a mathematical anomaly. Since 2020, Midwest home prices have surged into a vertical line, fueled by inflation and institutional investors hunting for the last bit of yield left on the map. The Midwest did not join the party late. It is the last house standing at the end of a decade-long binge. And when the most stable region in the country turns into the biggest bubble of all, what happens to the people left holding the keys? If you want to see the data everyone is missing, hit subscribe right now, because what I'm about to show you will change how you think about Midwest housing forever. Look at this map showing year-over-year home price changes. Florida and Texas covered in red. Prices falling everywhere. The Southwest bubble bursting in real time. But there is one region covered in thick blue, the Midwest. From Milwaukee to Chicago to Detroit to Cleveland, prices have done nothing but go up since 2007, and much more since 2020. Here's what everyone misses. When economists quote Cleveland, they look at the city proper. But Cleveland's city limits are a statistical trap. 8th grade math proficiency, 7%. Violent crime rate 700 per 100,000. The city core is not the market, it is a deterrent. The real bubble is happening 10 miles out in the suburbs. School ratings in the 80th and 90th percentiles. Crime rates practically zero. That is where inventory vanished. That is where bidding wars still happen. By averaging the stagnant city with hyper-inflated suburbs, official data hides a massive, unsustainable price surge. Illinois residents, drop your city below right now. What did your last property tax bill look like? I want the real numbers from real people on the ground. Take this Cleveland metro county. January 2019, typical home value $157,000. January 2026, that same home $246,000. To a California investor, $246,000 sounds cheap, but in context of local economy, this is a 57% explosion in a region with zero population growth and stagnant wages. This is not organic growth, this is speculative fever, and the monthly payment is even worse. According to Zillow data, typical monthly mortgage payment in these suburbs skyrocketed 80% since 2019. Historically, the Midwest was the last bastion of affordability. Pre-pandemic, a typical family spent 15% of gross monthly income on mortgage. Today, that jumped to 22%, the highest in nearly 2 decades. But even that 22% hides the true damage, because the product is rapidly deteriorating. The inventory available is largely post-war relics. Bungalows built in the 1940s and 1950s, bizarre cramped layouts, outdated electrical systems, tiny backyards, and one typical suburban county, only 80 single-family homes on the market at any time. The vast majority require 6 figures in renovations to be livable. The moment a modern home hits the market, the price detaches from reality. New construction? Nothing under $400,000. If this is information every home buyer needs to hear, hit that like button right now. It helps more people find this before they make a $250,000 mistake. This price surge is a symptom of a decade-long supply desert. In a healthy county this size, you would expect 600 to 1,000 new building permits per year. But look at the actual permits. Outside of small bumps in 2020 and 2021, this region has been chronically undersupplied since 2006. Home builders essentially retreated from the Midwest. A typical year, 300 new homes. When you stop building, junk inventory becomes the only option. This creates bizarre market distortion. In a Dallas or Austin suburb, $400,000 buys you a brand new energy-efficient home with warranty. In a Cleveland suburb, that same $400,000 buys a drafty house built in 1963 that has not been touched since the Nixon administration. The Midwest did not avoid the housing bubble. It just hid behind a mask of low prices. One Reddit user in Cleveland posted, toured a house listed at $380,000, built in 1952. Needed new roof, new HVAC, new electrical. Realtor said, I am lucky to even see it because 3 other buyers were interested. This market is insane. This is not just Cleveland, this is the new Midwestern standard. Plot the average monthly payment for Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, and Pittsburgh. The jump is staggering. Take Detroit Metro. 15 years ago, post-recession, you could secure a home for $300 per month. Today, even with Detroit's affordable reputation, that same lifestyle costs 4 times as much. For over a decade, you could argue these increases were standard inflation in urban recovery. But since 2022, the Midwest bubble decoupled from that trend. We are now in a bizarre state where it is more expensive than ever for quality that is worse than ever. The flyover discount evaporated. This is why we see the great migration south. It is not just the weather, it is the supply side flush. In southern markets, home builders are flooding the zone. Aggressive rate buydowns, slashing prices, building homes people actually want. The surge of new supply is forcing delusional existing homeowners in Austin and Tampa to drop prices. Meanwhile, in the Midwest, there is no relief. Because builders abandoned the Great Lakes, existing owners hold a monopoly on crumbling product. They are holding out for 2022 prices on 1960s infrastructure. As a buyer, you are not just paying a premium for a home, you are paying a premium for the privilege of scarcity. As Sun Belt inventory grows and prices stabilize, the Midwest is left standing alone. The most expensive, cheap place to live in American housing market history. Here is what this means. If you are buying in the Midwest right now, understand you are paying peak prices for bottom-tier quality. A $350,000 home in Ohio requires $80,000 in renovations. That same $430,000 total buys you a brand new turnkey home in North Carolina or Tennessee. The math does not work anymore. If you're selling in the Midwest, your window is closing fast. Once Sunbelt prices stabilize and migration slows, buyers will stop accepting your premium for junk. Price realistically now or get stuck. If you are renting in the Midwest, stay patient. This bubble cannot sustain. When it corrects, and you will have negotiating power. The Midwest bubble is real. It is hidden in the data, but it is there, and it is the last one standing. Now I want to hear from you. Are you in the Midwest right now? What are prices like in your area? Are you seeing this bubble firsthand? Drop your city and your experience in the comments below. I read every single one. And if this video just exposed the Midwest housing bubble, hit subscribe and like right now, because next week I am covering which Midwest cities are about to crash first. And you do not want to miss that. See you in the next one.